The 1962 FIFA World Cup, officially the 1962 FIFA World Cup/Campeonato Mundial de Fútbol, Chile 1962, was the seventh FIFA World Cup and was held from May 30 to June 17, 1962 in Chile. It was the third World Cup to be held in South America, following Uruguay in 1930 and Brazil in 1950. The qualification process took place from August 1960 to December 1961, with 56 teams from 6 confederations participating, and 14 teams qualified for the final tournament along with Chile, the hosts, and Brazil, the defending champions. Brazil successfully defended its World Cup title, defeating Czechoslovakia 3-1 in the final in Santiago, Chile. They became the second team, after Italy in 1934 and 1938. To win the World Cup twice in a row, no team has achieved this feat since. Host nation Chile finished third, defeating Yugoslavia 1-0 in the third-place playoff. The tournament was marred by violence between players on the pitch and a toxic atmosphere, including the first-round match between Chile and Italy, 2-0, known as the Battle of Santiago, one of several violent matches throughout the tournament. This was the first World Cup to use goal average as a means of distinguishing teams with the same number of points. It was also the first World Cup in which the average number of goals per game was less than 3, 2.78. This has been repeated at every World Cup since. Host selection. After Europe had hosted 2 consecutive World Cups, the American football federations demanded that the 1962 World Cup be held in South America, or they would boycott the tournament altogether, as they had in 1938. Argentina, after previous failed bids, was the favorite. The president of Magallanes, Ernesto Alvear, attended the FIFA Congress held in Helsinki while the Finnish city hosted the 1952 Summer Olympics. He believed that Chile had the potential to host the World Cup. Some sources also said that FIFA did not want Argentina to run alone, and that the request for Chile to participate was almost symbolic. Chile had applied in 1954 along with Argentina and West Germany. But Germany withdrew at FIFA's request. 57 teams participated in the 1962 World Cup. Due to rejections and withdrawals, 52 teams eventually participated in the qualifying round. Chile as hosts and Brazil as reigning World Cup champions automatically qualified, with the remaining 14 final spots shared equally among the continental confederations. List of teams that have qualified for the finals: Asia, 0, Africa, 0, North, Central America and the Caribbean, 1 Mexico, South America, 5 Brazil, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay, Europe, 10 Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, England, Hungary, Italy, Soviet Union, Spain, Switzerland, West Germany, Yugoslavia. Venues. Originally, 8 stadiums were chosen to host World Cup matches in 8 cities: Santiago, Viña del Mar, Rancagua, Arica, Talca, Concepción, Talcahuano and Valdivia. The Valdivia earthquake, the most powerful earthquake ever recorded, struck on May 22, 1960. With over 50,000 casualties and over 2 million people affected, the earthquake forced the organizers to completely change the World Cup schedule. Talca, Concepción, Talcahuano and Valdivia were severely damaged and were removed from the list of host cities. Antofagasta and Valparaiso refused to host any matches because their venues were not financially self-sustaining. Viña del Mar and Arica rebuilt their stadiums while Braden Copper Company, then an American company that controlled the El Teniente copper mine, offered the use of its stadium in Rancagua Formation, The format of the competition was similar to that of the 1958 competition. 16 qualified teams were divided into 4 groups of 4 teams each. The 4 teams seeded in the draw held in Santiago on January 18, 1962 were Brazil, England, Italy, and Uruguay. The top 2 teams from each group advanced to the quarter-finals. Group 1, Soviet Union, Yugoslavia, Uruguay, Colombia. Result: Soviet Union, Yugoslavia are the 2 teams that entered the quarter-finals. Group 2, West Germany, Chile, Italy, Switzerland. Result: West Germany, Chile are the 2 teams that entered the quarter-finals. Group 3, Brazil, Czechoslovakia, Mexico, Spain. Result: Brazil, Czechoslovakia are the 2 teams that entered the quarter-finals. Group 4, Hungary, England, Argentina, Bulgaria. Result: Hungary, England are the 2 teams that entered the quarter-finals. Quarter-finals: Chile beat European champions the Soviet Union to set up a semi-final against the winners of the England-Brazil match. Garrincha scored twice in a 3-1 win over England. Meanwhile, a 1-0 win for Yugoslavia over West Germany, and another 1-0 win for Czechoslovakia over neighboring Hungary, saw the 2 Slavic nations meet in the semifinals. Viña del Mar was the original venue for the South American semifinal and Santiago for the Slavic semifinal, but with Chile surprisingly qualifying, organizers pushed FIFA to change venues. This upset the Viña del Mar crowd, with just under 6,000 spectators turning up at the Estadio Sausalito to see Czechoslovakia beat Yugoslavia 3-1. While a capacity crowd of 76,600 in Santiago saw Brazil beat the hosts 4-2. This match saw Garrincha sent off for Brazil and Honorino Landa sent off for Chile. The final. The Santiago National Stadium was the venue for the final, and after 15 minutes, Brazil were once again 1 goal down in a World Cup final, when Adolf Scherer's long pass was met by Joseph Masopust. 1-0 Czechoslovakia. As in the previous final in 1958, Brazil fought back early, equalizing 2 minutes later through Amarildo after an error by Czech goalkeeper Schroij. Brazil scored goals from Zito and Vava, another error by Schroij, midway through the second half, and Czechoslovakia could not come back into the match. The match ended 3-1 in Brazil's favor, a victory that successfully defended the title for the second time in the tournament's history despite the absence of one of their star players from 1958, Pelé, who was replaced by Amarildo.